Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Thank you so much, President Rapp, for that kind of some personal introduction. I do hope that parts of that introduction, like he is my boss, is on tape someplace, so that I can, use it in the future. But I'm delighted to be here. I'm delighted that I've known Jennifer for a long time and been able to sort of see her great leadership at Hunter thrive, and that she has been also a dear friend and mentor and partner in that. Another version of that journey that she shared is this is a guy who can't keep a job. Right? So, but thank you so much, and also thank you for all the support you've given Centro throughout the years, and there's many instances like that Pantoja story that I can tell in times where we came to you and you were ready to help us close the deal or move forward. So thank you for your leadership and for also allowing Centro to be able to be part of this phenomenal expansion into East Harlem with the School of Social Work. I'm going to excuse myself because our Vice Chancellor for Communications in East Harlem, sort of resident, Maite Junco, is going to be upset that the talking points that they wrote I'm not going to use, right? And but I feel very much at home here at Hunter and at this conference for Centro. I want to commend Edwin Melendez and the entire Centro team. Not just the organizing of the conference, which is extremely valuable, but all the work that Centro has been doing throughout the years, and we're sort of marking the 2-year anniversary of Hurricane Maria. But we have to remember that prior to that incredible devastation, there have been long-standing structural economic issues on the island, and the Centro has been part of the many actors that have been trying to provide answers, alternatives, spaces to convene the different stakeholders that can help to move Puerto Rico ahead. So the work of Centro is work that precedes the explosion of the crisis with the coming of Maria, and I want to commend you for all that hard work. I have many friends in the audience, so I feel very much at home. I want to thank you all for attending, for supporting the work that the Centro has been doing throughout many years. And I just want to highlight just a couple of things because I think it's important that we get to the meat of the matter with the conference. One is that it is so important to have a space like this to be able to step a little bit back, reflect, re-strategize, network, to be able to move ahead the agenda associated with social justice and democracy in Puerto Rico. Even if we were holding this conference at a time when we felt a lot more enthusiastic about the situation in Puerto Rico, the work of social justice, the work of democracy is ongoing work. And it's important that we find spaces that we can convene to continue to work on it. It is a complicated time, and I think Centro has been working again with this sort of longer term trajectory. I remind the folks who are paying attention to this in Puerto Rico that, the hurricane obviously was a life-changing event, but the structural issues that have been affecting Puerto Rico have been, long in the making, and we need both a strategy that thinks about those long-term issues and ways to sort of address them, and then to connect them with sort of the new emerging things that occur in Puerto Rico, and some of those things. There's the hurricane, but there's also this entire sort of movement in the summer, right? In terms of asking the governor to resign and that whole sort of grassroots movements, and then so where is that coming from? And I think many of us are trying to sort of make sense of of that incredible moment in the history of the island, and then how can the forces that were mobilized to be able to get that, can they be mobilized to advance other parts of an agenda of social justice and democracy in Puerto Rico. I'm a blessed man, and that blessing includes that I happened to be in Puerto Rico at the time of the march and all the related events. And I was there because I was visiting the CUNY students that were helping still in the reconstruction work in Puerto Rico. Again, I'm so proud in this case of the role that CUNY has played in supporting Puerto Rico, and that goes from the work that institutions like the Centro have been doing of convening, of bringing people together, of organizing the conversations and the interventions and the support that the Diaspora was giving to things in Puerto Rico, and the role that our individual faculty have played, because we have also institutionally the system responded to support Puerto Rico, but our faculty also in their individual ways kept some of those relationships and helped the university think about ways to help and connect with Puerto Rico. So that's another important part of the story of that connection of Puerto Rico and CUNY. Governor Cuomo, that sort of challenged us to use a model that we're very dear, the CUNY Service Corps, which was created as CUNY's response to Hurricane Sandy, and say, you know, we have a model of service or learning there. Can we tweak it and use it to send students to Puerto Rico? And they went, and I was able to visit them the first summer, and doing a great combination of learning history of Puerto Rico as they got ready to go, and then also doing work on the ground. And they were fixing roofs and, you know, clearing debris in folks' houses, helping out in communities, doing really, really important work, and getting an incredible life-changing service learning opportunity. I was very proud to go that summer and visit. It was personal for all the obvious reasons, being Puerto Rico, but I got assigned to work at a community in Cataño, which was like a 10-minute walk from where my grandmother had been a public high school teacher, and my dad had worked at Molinos de Puerto Rico for 40 years, so it was very, very emotional, and to see our students interact with the community and give back, which is really, that service side is part of CUNY's DNA, was incredibly emotional. And then I was in the island to go visit the cohort that went, and I told them, I said, you are in Puerto Rico for 2-3 weeks, and you're the luckiest students ever, because you happen to be at one of the most historic times in Puerto Rico, and actually to have dinner with the students after the march on Monday, you know, leading to the events. It was a phenomenal conversation to see how students were taking this experience of being in Puerto Rico. And again, I was so proud of our students. This summer I got to work with them, and again, something very personal. They were still working with some families in Loíza. They were also working in some houses in Orocovis, but they were also clearing all the paths in El Yunque. And as someone that had, as a younger person, camped in El Yunque, again, a very personal connection there. But again, CUNY diciendo presente, saying present in this long-standing relationship with Puerto Rico. We have also Dr. Andújar from the University of Puerto Rico at Arecibo, one who gives some love at the course. And actually, part of his duties is also he's been assigned by the Chancellor of the University of Puerto Rico to advance a memorandum of understanding has been long in the making between the UPR system and CUNY to sort of strengthen all those things. So again, I thank you. Many of you here have been doing incredibly important work. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for that work, and continue to encourage you to do that, to make a pledge that in this new role as Chancellor, anything that we can do, either supporting our existing structures like Centro, some of the partnerships that our faculty and staff in some of the having the individual campuses collaborating with Puerto Rico, the links to many of the grassroots organizations in Puerto Rico that are vital to the agenda moving forward, that we'll do whatever we can to be supportive of that work. It's great to be here at Centro. It's great to be back home in so many ways. But the part of the job that stinks is that I have to run elsewhere and I cannot stay to listen to many of the panels. I'm going to try to sneak out at some point later this afternoon and tomorrow to be able to be here. And but I wanted to be part of the conference and commend Edwin and the Centro for their work, commend all of you for the work that you're doing, and also say that I'm inspired as I see your work, as I see some of the things that are happening in Puerto Rico. There's a lot of things that are complicated and messy, but there are so many rays of hope. There's so much energy. There's so much innovation. There's so much in the attempt to sort of respond to this crisis, which I think we need to embrace, nurture, and allow to move forward. So, thank you so much. Que disfruten el resto del día y gracias por estar con nosotros.